What is up, guys? Andrew here from Catch America. Today I'm at Muir Beach targeting surf perch. So if you guys haven't targeted surf perch before, they're actually a really great sport fish for light tackle, and they're great on the table. I personally like targeting them in the winter, which is usually when they're most active, because that's when they come closest to the beaches to breed. So I'm going to be using two setups. One's going to be a light setup with 10-pound braid with a 12-pound leader, and one's going to be a 40-pound braid with 25-pound leader, just in case we encounter anything bigger in the water today, which I'm not expecting it, but you never know around here. We're going to be using a pompano rig on both of our rigs, so I'll just show you guys that now. So I have a high-low rig pretty much. That's all it is a high-low rig, but you're adding these floats here. As you can see, I have this yellow float, and that's gonna help our sand crabs, which we're gonna use as bait, to suspend in the water a bit better, which is gonna allow the surf perch to see them. It's also gonna make it so the sand crabs can't dig back in the sand, because that's where they live, in the sand, and they're really good at digging. So the float is also gonna sort of prevent them from getting back in the sand and keep them in that strike zone, which is where we want them. We're gonna be using these Sputnik sinkers. Some guys call them Sputnik, some guys call them breakaway sinkers. But these ones are really good for using in surf conditions. I like to use them in pretty much any surf condition. They're a lot better than pyramid weights, which tend to move in heavier current. We don't have too heavy of a current or a swell today, but nonetheless, I still want my bait to stay in place, so I'm gonna be using these guys. First things first, before we start fishing, we gotta find some sand crabs. When you look for sand crabs, you're gonna be looking right in that whitewash zone. So you're gonna kind of get in the water a little bit, and you're gonna have to dig around for them. And what I like to do, I like to dig, and then I either throw the sand up past the waves, or I just put it in my little bucket that I bring along. So you can just bring a little garden shovel and then a small bucket and put a bunch of sand in there. And then you just get a bunch of sand and you weed out the sand crabs that are in there that you caught. So without further ado, let's go get some sand crabs. All right, so I was able to find a couple sand crabs. There weren't too many. It took a bit of locating, but it always does. But here are the sand crabs that I've caught so far. This is one of the guys that we got. So this guy, we're just gonna put him on the high-low rig. When you're rigging these guys up, you always gotta make sure to put the hook in the part where they dig down. So you're gonna see if you put them in the sand that they're gonna start to dig in the sand. You have to hook that part so it prevents them from actually digging in the sand, which is, you know, obviously we don't want them there because the perch won't be able to find them. All right, so that's our completed little rig right there. Well, you want most of the hook actually exposing, and that's gonna increase your hookup ratio, because if you have the hook buried deep into the sand crab, when the perch takes it, it's more likely gonna miss the hook. But if you have a lot of the hook exposing, then you're gonna get a lot more hookups. All right, so we got our high-low rig completed. Let's go ahead and chuck it out there. Oh, hook up right away. Oh, guys, we're on. There we go. All right, guys, we got our first fish here. As you can see, perfect hook set. Demolished that sand crab. It's a good sized barred surf perch. It put up a decent fight, especially on that light tackle. It's always a good time. This guy was actually just right where the waves were. He was right where the waves are breaking. You really don't need to throw it that far out there. Pretty much, they're always right close in. But let's get this guy unhooked and get some more. Great release. All right, so while we're waiting for my baits to get eaten, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly where I look when I'm throwing my baits out. So at beaches, there's always a lot of structure, even though it may not look like it when you first arrive to a beach. Structure can come in a lot of different forms. So as you guys could see, it could come in these side walls over there, the cliffs, providing some safety or cover for fish, or the one over there. But when you're along the beach in just a flat middle part, pretty much what you're gonna look for is whitewater and where there's clear water closer up. Not clear water, but water that's not breaking. Water that's not breaking is gonna mean that there's actually a gutter there, is what I like to call them. So the waves are gonna be breaking a little bit further out, and then there's some clear water when you come in a bit closer. So the clear water, as I said, it means that there's a gutter and there's a deeper section. That's probably where most of the fish are gonna be holding. A lot of people, when they first go to a beach, they're always trying to cast as far as they can, but most of the time you don't need to cast as far as you can. Most of the fish are gonna be closer up, especially when it comes to surf perch, because the surf perch are actually looking for those sand crabs, and the sand crabs are gonna get kicked up in that white water and near that white water, and they're gonna drift around trying to climb back into the sand. So that's where I'm throwing my baits. It's a little bit hard to see right now because the tide is coming up, but there are a good amount of gutters just right in front of me here. It's a little bit difficult to see them, but it's just coming across right here. So I'm really not throwing my baits out too far. So let's keep going, and hopefully I can put you guys on a couple perch. We're on. All right, guys, we're on to our next fish here. Nice. It's a good surf perch. All right, guys, so we got this beautiful surf perch here. Really nice fight. I'm telling you guys, on that 10-pound line, it's a really good time. It absolutely demolished that bait. We'll release him and then we'll keep going. There we go. We're on. That's a nice one, guys. It's got good head shakes. Yep, it's a good fish, good fish. Ooh, it's a nice chunky surf perch, guys. Wow. That's a big perch. Wow, I just barely hooked him there too. That is insane. I barely hooked this fish. Look, it was about to come off. Just right there. Just barely hooked it. This is a chunky, sizable fish right here. Guys, this is a nice one. This one's got to be at least probably about 7-8 inches. I don't know. It's the biggest one I've caught today, actually. So put up a really good fight. I'm telling you guys, this 10-pound line is so nice. It makes it feel like these fish are like tuna almost. It's absolutely insane. But it's a beautiful fish too. Great on the table, great sport fish, but I'm only doing it catch and release today. So let's give him a release and let him live another day. And there he goes. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it for the day. So overall, we got 3 surf perch. It was an absolutely amazing day. I'm really happy to bring in those fish, and on the light tackle, it was actually super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget, catch America. Peace.